Next Door Neighbor by Peter Filler. Chapter 13 Radio Waves. Jodis and Jennings have been gifted at science since first grade, and every year it was the same. Jodis and Jennings won first and second place for their science projects at Bright Academy's Science Fair. That's why they were chosen to be Zibo's first contact ambassadors. 4 years ago, Mission Control's engineer, Ramon, began utilizing Jodis's project, the Long-Distance Wave Receiver. This helped Ramon, Jodis, and Jennings to do their research on Earth. It looks simple, a polished shell of magnetic coils and frequency enhancers, but it could do what no Earth invention could do: pick up and harness faint radio waves from distant galaxies, light years away. Using the receiver, Jodis and Jennings were able to intercept an Xfinity Wi-Fi signal that was sent to Pete Roberts from one of Earth's internet satellites. After guessing the Wi-Fi password, home modem, they were able to browse Earth's internet. While researching a communication method Jodis and Jennings could use to send him a message from Earth to Zibo, Commander Ramon found an FM radio station in Houston, KUHF 88.7. Public, trusted, under the radar. If you can get a show on that frequency, Ramon had said, you can send a message not just to me, but to all of Earth. You'll be the galaxy's first contact ambassadors. You'll share the news that intelligent life exists on other planets and interstellar travel is possible. Before launching the mission, Ramon handed each twin a handwritten note. Jennings' note held instructions for sending a message to RD-90 upon entry of Earth's orbit. Jodis' note had a frequency, 88.7 FM, and a URL, houstonpublicmedia.org. His instructions were clear: establish contact with RD-90 when entering Earth's atmosphere, avoid detection, get a radio show, send the message to the universe, become first contact ambassadors. As they slowed for entry into Earth's atmosphere, Tic-Tac-Toe began to rattle violently. Uncle Stan took the controls as the vibration sensor blinked red. Jennings struggled as Uncle Stan got the vibration to stop. Then she locked in the signal. I got him! Deep in the woods near Chestnut Ridge, hidden under a camouflage tarp behind Rick Whalen's abandoned stone house on Devil's Mountain Trail, RD-90 was scanning the radar of Tic-Tac-1 when an incoming message came across his dashboard. We are the first contact ambassadors, and we've arrived. Meet us 20 miles off the coast of Galveston Beach, 1,000 feet deep, in the Gulf of Mexico at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Despite being 4.37 light years from home, Jodis and Jennings always find themselves on their bikes, riding around town. They've just traded riding bikes in the barren landscape of suburbia, filled with tumbleweeds, for the lush tropical gardens of Galveston. Regardless of whether being on Earth or Zibo, Jodis and Jennings always find themselves drawn to radio towers. Before they left suburbia, they rode to the communication towers, where they found skyscraper-tall, fortress-wide steel radio towers being held into place with abundant suspension wires. There was something about those towers, a mysterious magic that drew the twins in. Jodis got off his bike and jumped on the fence. Jennings shouted, "Isn't that dangerous?" Jodis shouted back, "Only if we get caught." Jennings followed, and together they began climbing up the radio tower. They climbed up one story, looked down, then climbed back down. With a grin, Jodis said, "Maybe we can go up one more story next time." With Uncle Stan and Aunt Marianne always on guard watching and accounting for Jodis and Jennix every minute, it's hard for them to get away. "Hey, Jennix," Jodis said the night before the ninth grade graduation, their breath fogging in the cool air. "Just like old times, let's go see the radio towers. There's something about them. I don't know, it's like they're calling me." After Uncle Stan and Aunt Marianne were sleeping, Jodis and Jennix sneaked out the side door of the garage with their bikes. They rode fast in the night air towards the island's radio towers. They were getting closer and began staring up at the blinking red lights on the towers. "Let's see how high we can climb this time," Jennix challenged. They jumped the fence, climbed up the second story, looked down, and felt the metal vibrate with energy. Then they climbed down, hearts racing. "I think we can make it to the third story next time," Jennix said while remembering their mission. The clock was ticking on the first contact ambassadors. They snuck back in through the side door of the garage, which they left unlocked. Uncle Stan and Aunt Marianne were still asleep as Jodis and Jennix walked by their room. "First time, last time, Jennix?" "Agreed. For now," Jennix replied with a smile, then continued, "That was fun, but I'm not sure sneaking out at night is a good idea anymore. What if Uncle Stan and Aunt Marianne found out? They'd be so disappointed with us." Jodis hopped into the top bunk bed. "I'm sure he'd understand. He was young once, and I've heard the stories about him and Dad when they were young. They were rebels. I think he would understand." Jennix turns out the light. "I hope you're right." In the morning, everything seemed fine. Uncle Stan and Aunt Marianne had their bagels and cream cheese on the back porch and did their crossword puzzle on the kitchen table. Then Uncle Stan sat down next to Jodis and Jennix on the living room sofa. "So, you care to explain this?" Uncle Stan showed Jodis and Jennix surveillance footage from the garage from last night on his phone. "You were young once, right, Uncle Stan?" Jodis began. "Jennix and I, we love to explore, so we went to the radio towers." Uncle Stan interrupted. "The radio towers?" Jodis continued. "Yes, the radio towers. Jennix and I have always been fascinated by them." Uncle Stan made a face and put his hand across his mouth. Seems harmless enough. What do you think, Marianne?" Marianne scolded. "You really ought to be more careful. Think about the danger you put yourself into. And for what? A thrill?" Uncle Stan shook his head. "She's right. Think twice when you make those decisions, not for yourselves, for us, for our mission." Jodis and Jennix looked at each other and both nodded. Jodis answered, "We will, Uncle Stan. We'll think twice so we don't make any bad decisions that may hurt us." "Thank you, Uncle Stan."